Good. I would like to introduce Eloy Garza. He is an amazing teacher out of a rural Texas community. I'll let you fill him in a little bit, Eloy. I had
Sure.
the opportunity to see Eloy present at the National Career Pathways Network conference in St. Louis last fall, and his passion for the program that he's developed was so infectious that I felt like it was something that I really wanted to give our region the opportunity to hear more about. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Garza.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much. As Angela said, my name is Eloy Garza. I'm the marketing instructor at PSJ Southwest Early College High School. We're located at the very bottom of Texas. We're located right on the border of Mexico in Far, Texas, in an area that we call the Rio Grande Valley, which is historically a rural area. And so what I've done here is essentially I turned my high school marketing program into a nonprofit marketing firm, and it's completely 100% run by the students. And so that's what I'm going to present to you today. And as I'm hoping everyone can see the screen. You can see my screen, Angela. We're good.
I apologize. I forgot to review some of the Adobe Connect format. So, all of you are muted, but if you look in the upper part of your screen, you'll see that little body raising their hand. So
Mhm.
if you can see everything, if you could go ahead and just click on that and then click agree, the green checkbox.
Great.
Perfect. And then once you've
Perfect.
done that, you can clear your status by clicking that same box.
Fantastic. Okay, well, good. That gives me a thumbs up that everyone can see the presentation, and so I'll go ahead and get going. What I've started this program, and I essentially just started calling it the Business Outreach Program. And we are at PSJ Southwest Early College High School, and just I'm a marketing teacher, so I had to brand it. We started calling it Southwest Marketing, and the primary focus of today is developing a relevant learning program through a student-run enterprise. And this it's a different spin on a student-run enterprise because these are professional consulting services that my students are offering to businesses in our area. And so that's what I'm going to be going through today. And I also do have a student here, a former student that's here with me, and she is here to tell her story and I guess kind of give a breakdown as to what she went through and how it's helping her now as she's in at the university. And so let me go ahead and get going. A little bit about the program. This is an experiential learning methodology. So my students learn by taking what I teach them, the theory that I teach, that any one of us would teach out of a textbook. And then instead of just giving them projects, I gave them clients to start working with. And so they apply what they are learning with these opportunities, these clients that they work with. This is huge for business engagement, for experiences with businesses, whether it be business tours, having business leaders come in and speak to students. It also leads to donations. And so if any of you have been kind of racking your brain trying to figure out how can I get business involved, well, don't ask for money because they're going to shut the door. If you find a different way, they'll open the door, welcome you with open arms, and then eventually you can get to the point where, hey, it just kind of makes sense that they give some monetary donations. This is a dual enrollment program through South Texas College. Southwest or PSJA as a district, all of our high schools are early college high schools. And so on top of being a high school instructor, I'm also an adjunct instructor for South Texas College. This program is aligned perfectly with a capstone methodology, and I'll go into that a little later. So essentially, as my students go through my program, they're also developing and completing a capstone project, which for our district is pretty important because all seniors must complete a capstone by the time they graduate. Um, and at the very end of it, it's a work-based learning. So the program kind of leads into internship opportunities, doing volunteer hours for local businesses, and working. I mean, they are essentially working and gaining experience as they go through the program. Um, so a little bit about myself. I'm the dual enrollment marketing instructor here at the PSA Southwest. I'm a former head of marketing and account executive for a technical publication firm based out of San Antonio. And so a little bit of what I did on a daily basis, I interacted with pretty large businesses, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Southwest Airlines, also some of the world's largest manufacturers of wind turbines like Vestas Americas, Gamesa, that sort of thing. And what I did was when I came back down, I'm originally from this area, and this was while I was in San Antonio. When I came back down to live here, and kind of start a family with my high school sweetheart, I wanted to leverage that experience into the classroom, and I just started running it the way I worked in the corporate setting. I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in integrated marketing communications at Georgetown University. Um, I'm also a member of the marketing advisory committee for South Texas College, and I was fortunate enough to receive the Distinguished Teaching and Learning Award from South Texas College, which was at the time awarded to 6 instructors out of the 2,000 plus instructors we have in South Texas College. And aside from, I wear a couple hats here at the school. Aside from being a marketing teacher and instructor and DECA advisor, I'm also a throwing coach. And so I'm a USATF Level 2 certified throws coach, and I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with some amazing athletes here at our school. And currently, I have an athlete who's ranked number 5 in the country in the shot put with a 12-pound shot put in high school. So I just love what I do, and so the opportunity to have this opportunity to share what I do with you, and it's really a pleasure and an honor. And so let's dive in a little bit deeper into the program. So Southwest Marketing, the courses that I teach, as you can see here, is Principles of Marketing, Customer Relationship Management, Public Relations, Principles of Selling, and Advertising and Sales Promotion. These are the 5 courses that round out the Marketing Associates requirements for South Texas College. And these are the courses that I teach to the students throughout the year. Now, that's the dual enrollment. That's the South Texas College nomenclature. Now, for high school, they fall under Advanced Marketing, Social Media Marketing, and Practicum of Marketing Dynamics. And the students typically start taking the course their junior and senior year, as this is typically an upper level course. However, this year, we started the Marketing Associates pathway here at our school. And so I started with a cohort of sophomores who started with the course, with the program, and are going to be with me until they graduate. So a lot of support from my administrators and everyone within the district for what we're trying to accomplish here. So again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and we can go through them, and then we can try and address them at the end of the presentation. So what is it that I do? What is the business outreach program? Essentially, I take marketing students, PSJA, STC, marketing students, have them develop comprehensive marketing plans for local businesses to develop a win-win situation for everyone involved. And that's really the bulk of what I'd like to go over today. Go over some of my pains and struggles, and really just kind of show you that, hey, this is possible anywhere with a number of different types of courses. The model that I've created here is really a good starting point for many different CTE courses to work with local business and industry to develop an experiential learning opportunity for students. And so that's what I'd like to continue to go over. So first off, how do I get the businesses involved? As I stated, my previous position in the corporate world was that of a sales and marketing guy. My job was to bug, annoy, beg, plead with people on a daily basis. And so for me, it was very natural to just have the opportunity to go out and speak with individuals and say, hey, this is what's going on. but to be very honest, it really just comes down to telling the story and just reaching out to businesses and telling them what you're trying to do. So I'm Catholic, and I'm also an Acts brother. And so I guess where we had our first really big break was I was at an Acts retreat, and there was 80 brothers there, and I just kind of had the opportunity. We all, those who wanted to get up and say thanks or just talk about their experience, had the opportunity to do so. I got up and I just thanked everyone for the wonderful experience, and I kind of just had to plug what we're doing here. And I said, hey guys, by the way, if any of you own a business and would like assistance, why don't you come on over to our high school and you can work with our students and we can help you with your marketing. And that just became a domino effect. And I didn't know that there was a city councilman in the audience, and there was plenty of business owners there, and they all just kind of liked the story, just the opportunity to have students work with them work with students, and kind of give back to the community, because that's really what we're doing here. I don't charge anything for what we do for our businesses. This is all free. This, if you look at business involves the exchange of value. To me, giving my students the opportunity to gain real, true life experience, professional experience, was more valuable than us trying to charge them for these services. And so in that way, it kind of sweetens the pot for the business owners, and it makes it a much easier value proposition for them to team up with us, because if they don't like it, well, they didn't pay anything for it. Really, what we're looking at is a time commitment and the opportunity for them to come in, really interact and work with our students, and our students get the experience that they need to advance themselves as young business professionals. And so that's really kind of the gist of it. Now, what we like, the official process that I go through is I have a meeting with a business person, and as you can see here on the presentation, I myself and I have a business and community engagement coordinator in our district. They kind of opened the position because we started working with businesses. We meet with a potential business partner to see if it's a good fit. What is it that they need? Are they going to be understanding of the process? Are they going to be understanding of working with students and the standards of operations and things that need to occur? Because they are minors after all, and they are in our supervision and my care. And so it's important that they understand that, and that we're all on the same page. And so we kind of give an overview of the program, tell them what's going to happen, and then we sign a partnership. An MOU is signed, and then they agree to a standards of operation. Again, that's kind of letting them understand that, hey, you're not going to be able to call these students on their personal cell phones. You're not going to, there's nothing like that's going to occur. All communication, it will be through official email correspondence that is given to our students via our district, right? Every student here is given their own email address. And so when they correspond with our students, or when our students send the email correspondences to them, I am CC'd, and so is our coordinators and other administrators who seek to be CC'd on these correspondences on every email. So there's full transparency the entire time. And that was just something that we set up from the very get-go, because we saw the potential issues of not knowing what's being said or how things are being said, and so on and so forth. And so once we have a business partner that is on board and they're gung-ho for the opportunity, we have them come to the class and they present to the class. This isn't the typical, hey, this is my job, this is how much money I make sure to go to college. No, that's not what this is. This is a consulting opportunity. This is, in the corporate world, we would call this this is a discovery meeting, right? We have a potential client who's interested in our services. We want them to come in and tell us what is it they need. How is it that they see that we can add value to their marketing efforts, right? And so it turns into a very different type of meeting. First of all, the students are prepared prior to every meeting with a business partner. Uh, I typically have um, my businesses already scheduled and set up for the year. Um, and this is a year-long engagement, a full, calendar, a school year long engagement. And when the businesses come in, I've already prepped all of my students to do some general research on their website, understand what industry they're in, find out as much about the business as possible prior to them coming in. That way, they're prepared with questions that pertain to the business, pertain to marketing, and at the end of the day, the perception is key. And so when I have a business partner come into my classroom, um, I want them to understand that these young people are not just regular students. They are young professional entrepreneurs, and that's how they see things. And so when they come in, what they see are students who are very well dressed, students that are well prepared, who are dressed well, who I've already, kind of prepared them on how to interact with professionals and so on and so forth.
Engaged.
Yes, and they're very engaged in the opportunity. And so that kind of becomes the initial meeting. And that sets up other additional meetings. It sets up a Q&A opportunity. And so it becomes like kind of a roundtable discussion where we talk about opportunities and where they might be slacking off. And I've had students just kind of tell businesses straight out, hey, your website is horrible. You need to do something about this. And the businesses just weren't prepared for it. They don't expect that type of engagement or professionalism from young people. And so after that, we determine a scope of work. Scope of work is essentially a contract that the students create. Once they have a clear understanding of what the businesses want and need, they present it to the clients, and the contract is signed. And essentially what it is, it's Mr. Business Partner, this is everything that we understand that you need. This is the timeline that we believe we can do it in. These are our objectives. This is how long it's going to take us. Do you agree? And, it could go through a couple iterations of it. They can give feedback and we'll change it. But once that document is signed, that's a contract, and we're not going to move from there unless we have, unless I guess we approve it. And it seems like a good opportunity to do so. And right after that, we continue with business tours, and it starts to get rolling. And so once that's done, we work with our students to develop roles. So every single team, every client that comes in is to us, that requires a team of students. That team will have a team lead, a primary point of contact. Now, in the corporate world, this would be an account manager. It's essentially the role that I played when I was in the corporate world. And so this is the position that I feel really, this is where the real all-stars and where the real magic is happening, because what I'd like to do here is develop future leaders and future young aspiring entrepreneurs. And all of the students that fit that, I guess, that mold to be a leader, they have to apply to be a team lead. And we go through a rigorous interview process. And once they are chosen as team leads, we go into trying to understand what else the team needs. They might need creative, they'll need research, they'll need strategy people. These are all different roles that these students can play based on their interests. And so if you have a kid that, is in your classroom and all he likes to do is doodle while you're giving this amazing lecture that you spent hours working on, And you got Jimmy in the corner, and all he's doing is doodling. Put Jimmy to work. Hey, Jimmy, come over here and start designing some things for this business. And you got the kids that love to be on their phones, on social media, and on Google. Put them to work. Put them to work on strategy, or put them to work on research, right? And so that's important. That was important for me to do, because the first year I tried doing this, I just said, okay, you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, and the kids hated it. They wanted to do what they wanted to do, based on their strengths, based on their interests. Well, great, let's do that. And marketing lends itself to that, because there's so many different pieces to kind of make a team together in the marketing world. So once we have our teams, we dive into production phase. Timelines are developed, teams produce plans and deliverables as per our statement of work, and all students participate in the production. And so as we're going along, we are developing everything for this business that we stated we would. And the whole time I'm teaching them from the book, the typical curriculum that you would teach a student. The only difference is I'm assessing them in different ways. I do have my students, submit to me, proof of Cornell note taking, and then they do take quizzes and they take exams. But the real bulk of what they do here is the work that they're accomplishing for these businesses. That's the true experience. Now, at the end of it all, a marketing plan is delivered. All the data is compiled and analyzed and finalized. Presentation is delivered to the client, and professionalism is the standard. These are real businesses. So a presentation that was put together last night, or just before the class started, is not going to cut it. This takes preparation. The businesses come in, they give of their time to essentially watch our students pitch to them. And it's a really engaging opportunity and process for both the business partner and our students. And that's kind of really where the real magic happens. And I'll have Mary, who's here with me, kind of discuss that in a bit. And so let's talk about some of our past clients. Some of these may not make much sense to you, but here's RGV Soccer Inflatables is a small business that we'll show you a little bit of what we did for them. They essentially had a business that you put on these big suits, these big bubble balls, and you bump into each other. They competed with bouncy houses and other party rentals. They needed help. This was a friend of mine that I went to high school with who started the business. Okay, hey man, let me help you out. Well, I don't have any money. That's okay. We're going to do it for free. Just give us the experience. How many of us have friends who are entrepreneurs, who are starting a business? Here in the area, I like to use, tacos. There are 1 million taco restaurants just in our area. That's, our proximity with Mexico. So there's 1 million people that think they have the secret recipe for making the best taco. Great. That's what they do well. What we do well is marketing. So they can continue doing what they do, and we can do what we do. And so that's how we bring them in. Now, Mott's Building Materials, this is like a small Home Depot. Few locations here in the area, a few multi-million-dollar, enterprise. Moonbeans Coffee, which is another small business that competes with Starbucks. They had 3 locations in the area. Ruben J. Luna Law Firm, Doctors Hospital Renaissance, which is a health system down here that has a multi-billion-dollar effect on our local economy, one of the largest doctor-owned hospital systems in the United States. Magic Valley Electric Co-op, which is an energy cooperative that serves over 90,000 members. Fieldwork Media, which is another marketing firm. We do work for others. A lot of it, I like to look at that the same way a mechanic is with his car. Mechanics work on other people's cars all day long, and then their car they don't have time for. So sometimes we'll engage with some local marketing agencies and help them better understand what they can do to market to other businesses. We also worked with Mazna Chocolate, which is a small chocolate company based here in the area, and then Rio Grande Valley Literacy Center, which you'll see a few examples of some of their work. Now, businesses that we're currently working with 9 different industries, 9 different companies, and we just kind of picked up our 10th company just 2 days ago. But essentially, we have a couple businesses that have continued to sign on. As you can see, Doctors Hospital Renaissance, the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, Vacker College of Business and Entrepreneurship. They have an advisory council who needed assistance helping the university improve the internship rate. We also have Rio Bank, which is a local community bank in our area with 8 locations. RGV Canine Training Center, which is an amazing canine training center with master certified dog trainers in our area. Their big focus is letting people understand that they can compete with the PetSmarts of the world. We also have Blackhawk Assets. Blackhawk Assets is a company that's based in the area, and they are new home construction, new home builders. Valley Haven Incorporated is a nonprofit agency, company based here in the area that's emergency children's shelter. And so what they do essentially is help people that are displaced from CPS. They bring them in and they provide shelter. The Rio South Texas Economic Council is an organization that assists our region with economic opportunities, bringing big business down to our region to start up manufacturing plants. We're actually helping them with their social media campaigns. And so this is the first time that we have an actual business that is paying us. They pay us a monthly amount for us to offer them social media marketing services. And so all of that money goes into a scholarship fund that is then picked up by our graduating seniors. They have the opportunity to apply for those scholarships, and if they get it, that's just money that goes straight to their studies. Independent Wealth Consultants is a financial consulting firm. And then the Lower Rio Grande Valley Regional Transportation Advisory Panel, which is 5 local metro bus entities that are combining to create one metro entity. So they reached out to us because they don't have a lot of money to do this. And so our students are going to have an opportunity to impact millions of people in our area that ride the metro bus system. And so just to kind of go into one of the companies that we work with, we have RGV Soccer Inflatables. So this is a company, a small business. They do party rentals. They had no marketing presence, needed full comprehensive plan, and they were targeting schools and event planning. So here's a video. If you go down, you're out. They're all standing up. So were you guys able to see that? Okay, so that was just another kind of example of marketing research that our students conduct. So what better way to understand how to market a company than by actually trying out the product? And so here's an example of a correspondence with a business owner, right? So here we have a student that sends a professional business correspondence to a business owner, and Ismael Lozano graduated in 2016 and is now pursuing a marketing degree at Texas State University, and is also going to be pursuing a master's degree in marketing this upcoming fall. So very exciting. As you can see, I'm CC'd on every correspondence. So here's an example of logo design. Much as we would in the corporate world or in the professional world, we have thumbnailing, and that evolves into an actual concept. And the students, because we team up with graphic design, audio, video, business management. We team up with every one of our business, our other, curriculums or classes that we can to try and develop these opportunities for students. Inri Nevada graduated 2016 and is now attending South Texas College and is studying graphic design. Something else that we did was website and social media. And so here we are. We developed a new website for this company. And we can do that using Weebly or Wix. These are things that are easy to work, easy to use, and something that we can pass on to our business partner once we're done. It's something that they can continue to manage once our engagement is over. Social media. Who better to manage and work on social media than the people who don't remember a time before it, right? And so this is a great opportunity for our students to really show their generational skills and understanding by providing these services to our business partners. So Doctors Hospital and Renaissance, this is a national leader in the health field, needed branding and brochure design for new facility concept. It was called Hub Connect, and it was supposed to be a college and community access center. They wanted to create something where people from the community can go somewhere that was located outside of a school setting, like in a downtown area, and provide computers, provide a place for students to go and study and connect to college and things of that nature. Well, this is what they gave us. And they said, Mr. Garza, please, can you help? Can your students make it look good? I said, yeah, sure. No, our students can make it look good, no problem. And so this is what they gave us. And we started kind of messing with the logo, Hub Connect. Our city, the city of Pharr, was once upon a time was known as the Hub City because it was kind of the center of all these other cities. Well, that was so long ago. The students didn't really understand that concept. It didn't connect with them, right? And so they asked, well, can we start developing new logos? Okay, guys, you're gonna have to pitch it to them, see what you come up with. And so they did. College Grounds was the name of the business that they came up with. Well, this was the new name that they came up with. A really great story about this logo or the name of this concept. A young lady named Emily, the quietest little girl you ever seen in your life, never spoke ever in my classroom. I had to pull tooth and nail to get her to even speak up in my class. Well, we were kind of brainstorming and, hey, guys, we need a new name. If you don't like Hub Connect, come up with a new name. And so the students were, College Cafe, or because it was supposed to be a cafe as well where they can eat and so on and so forth. No, and Cyber College, and no, not Cyber College. And then here's Emily with the name College Grounds. The grounds where college happens, coffee grounds, that sort of thing. It was brilliant, but she didn't want to give her idea. She was embarrassed. And so another student saw it on her paper and said, Sir, Emily has an idea. Let's hear it, Emily. Come on. Well, no, it's going to be stupid. Give me the idea. College Grounds. Oh my goodness. I made the biggest thing ever. If I could have, I would have done a backflip. It was amazing. It was a great concept. And she transformed right in front of me. And from that day forward, anytime anyone was supposed to give a concept or idea, she was the first one to belt it out. That's the kind of experience that students can have, or at least for me, that was a great opportunity to see a student grow. So what we initially gave them was this. They wanted a new brochure, a new front cover. This is what they came up with. They thought it was the greatest design that was ever designed in the history of designs. The client hated it. Mr. Garza, we don't like it. We put him on a conference call and, okay, what do you think, ma'am? And we don't like it. It's very 80s. And the students were like, 80s? What the heck does that mean? We don't know what that means, sir. Well, you wouldn't, right? And so they were very, we call it here aguitados. They were like very down on themselves because they were expecting the business to, the doctors to love it. Well, they didn't. And so my first response was, hey, does this happen in the real world? And they kind of just looked at each other. Well, yeah, I guess it must. Okay, come up with something better. take their feedback and develop something better, right? And that's exactly what they did. Without skipping a beat, they went and started designing and drawing new concepts. And so they wanted a more integrated logo that kind of had different designs integrated into the full-on concept. And so what we did, this is what we worked on. And Guillermo Marroquin, he's a programmer, but he also loved to draw. And so we put him to work, right? And this is what he came up with. This is what it looks like. This is the final look of it all. And I really must point out that the students did all of this. My role here that I like to take on is that of a facilitator. I'll teach you how to do this stuff. I'll help you understand it. I'm not going to do any of it because at the end of the day, it has to be their success. That's how they truly grow. Having me do the work and then putting their name on it doesn't do anything for them, right? And so this was the final design, and the client loved it. They loved the concept. It was a lot more forward thinking, a lot more. It looked more technology, is kind of what they said. And they came up with the color scheme and everything involved. So Eric Mendoza, class of 2017, he wanted to major in biochemistry, but he came up with the front cover, right? And then Julia Garcia, class of 2017, she's going in the Marines and she wants to study law. Again, she played a big part in what we developed here. So this is the final design, the front and back covers. These are all the community partners that are involved with this opportunity. And then this is the inside cover. Okay, this is the students came up with the majority of the content. They had to do research and ensure that the information that they were looking at, that they were putting into this design, into this spread, to the brochure, was accurate. And so they went to whitehouse.gov and the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and these are the students conducting research and then using that research, applying it to what they're doing. And these are my students right here. And this is Mary that you'll be talking to here in a bit. So Maria Garcia, who's in the front cover in the bottom right there, class of 2017. She's now studying in marketing and philosophy. So as we're starting to dive in a little bit deeper into the program, it's really important to talk about the capstone aspect of it. Now, the capstone methodology essentially is a student will undertake an intensive research study and develop comprehensive findings of that research and develop a final product. Well, that's everything that we do as a marketing firm. That's everything that we do. We analyze the business's current situation, through a situational analysis. We identify objectives that need to be met with the marketing efforts. We conduct research, comprehensive primary and secondary research, and we develop strategy and recommendations based off of those findings and deliver to our client brochures, pamphlets, billboard concepts, new websites, whatever they need. That is a capstone. And so here's an example of one of the more intensive efforts that we had here. Magic Valley Electric Co-op, which is kind of the big energy provider here in our area. They needed a marketing campaign for a scholarship that they offer to students and also for a youth tour opportunity that they offer. Well, who better to help them with this effort than the actual students who would be applying for these opportunities? And so what we started doing, and we'll just talk about the scholarship analysis, the scholarship opportunity, the students identified the objectives, understand how to target and inform students, develop recommendations on how to market the program, increase the applicant rate, basic things that any business would need to develop for marketing objectives. So they conducted primary research. They conducted surveys with all the students in our school. It was a convenience survey, convenience being that, all of their sample was here in our school. And that was all presented to our business partner. So what they got out of it, I didn't want to dive into all the data, but what they got out of it at the end of the day was they needed to educate the educators, educate students, and educate everybody. And this was how the students proposed was the best way to do that. Work with school principals, counselors, and college advisors, distribute informational flyer to all teachers and staff. Now, to educate the students, design scholarship posters to promote the opportunity, targeting our primary and secondary target markets, educate everyone, right? Advertise the scholarship through the school district website as a banner. And this would provide a higher rate of awareness to possible applicants for this opportunity. This was what the students essentially created as their deliverable, as their product. As you can see, the 15K scholarship, who's it coming from? Magic Valley. What is it? 15K scholarship. So I like to really emphasize KISS in the program. Keep it short and simple. Make sure that people, don't have to really fight for it to understand what it's trying to communicate. It needs to be simple. Do you want to go to college? Are you a Magic Valley customer? Graduation plus Magic Valley equals money. There you go. And what you see here is sticky notepad attachment. Imagine a sticky note. You pull them off and it essentially gives you an application checklist. So that was developed by the students. Now, that was to educate the students. To educate everyone, we were looking at a web banner. Every time you log into any computer or for internet access in our district, you are prompted directly to the PSA homepage. Well, let's create a banner that will go through there. And so the majority of people that go into the internet from any computer in our district will have the opportunity to see this banner. Great idea for the students. It's a partnership that they would that the Magic Valley would develop with the district. And here you go. It's essentially the same message. And then educate the educators. Here is a trifold that would be passed out to all educators in the area, in the district or whatever school, via the mailroom. Okay. Giving basic information about these opportunities. Designed, developed, created by our students. So, transcurricular opportunities. Our school, when I started doing this, I looked at a school as if it was a corporation made up of, so many different departments that typically operate in silos. They typically how it works is a teacher does their own thing. They're in their cave the whole time and they don't really interact much with others, at least in the CTE world. Me as a business teacher, I don't really have much to relate to with our health sciences teacher next door, right? Or to the, chemistry teacher or whatever the case may be. But if you now create an opportunity or a model where it makes sense to collaborate for the, end product of giving our students experiences, now you have something where different departments, different courses, different curriculums can now start working together to develop experiential learning opportunities for students. Now in CTE, it's very clear. So our business management program here at the school started working with us this year. We have, excuse me, we have 2 business partners that are currently working with us, and our business management class, courses here are developing business management plans for them. These are young startups. They want to be able to go to a bank at the end of the engagement and present to them a business plan. Well, on top of the business plan from us, Southwest Marketing, they're going to get a comprehensive marketing plan as well. So that's just one example of an opportunity, but it doesn't stop there. Accounting, finance, graphic design, audio video. Our graphic design and audio video programs here at our school are very heavily involved in everything that we do. I don't have the wherewithal to train all of our students graphic design and audio video. I'm going to have the subject matter expert that's right down the hall do it. and he can get his students involved. And now everyone's working in the same way, and we're all adding value to the business, and the students are getting firsthand professional experiences. Uh, BIM, business information management, engineering. So we have business clients who have come to us and said, hey, I think I want to manufacture this. Great, let's get our engineering department, let's get our engineering teacher involved and see if he can take on a project with his students. And we can also get IT involved because businesses need IT services. Agriculture, we worked with a chocolate company who now wants to start growing their own cacao trees, plants here. And so we got agriculture involved to see if they can start planting, taking care of, and managing these crops for them. They would take all of the fruit, they would take the cacao beans, and the students would learn how to cultivate and grow these plants. Manufacturing is something we already discussed. So Common Core, ELA, is rich with opportunities. Business writing skills is important in any field, in any ELA class. I've had every English teacher at our school say, hey, Mr. Garza, I know your students are real busy. I will grade the work that they do for you. Okay, what you are doing is essentially what I'm teaching, but at a different level. So if they want to submit their contract or a memo that they write to a business partner, submit it to me, I'll grade that and take it as a grade. That's amazing. Statistics. All of the research that my students do is very heavy with statistics. And so it just made sense. Hey, I have a stats teacher in the other hall. Sir, can you kind of look over this and make sure, yeah, that's amazing. And so his students will start proofing our statistical work. Economics, they can start understanding economics firsthand. Art, having our art teachers help us with concepts and designs, and Spanish. Spanish is really important here in our area, as it's typically the first language most of our students understand. And so for us to have the opportunity to translate some of the marketing material for them, that's a big effort. And it's a great opportunity for our Spanish teachers to get their students involved in real world application. Fine arts, we have actors in theater who want to be in commercials. We have band members who want to create musical scores for some of the jingles in the commercials. Orchestra, same thing. And choir, same thing. This is an opportunity for multiple departments, transcurricular departments, to work together and collaborate to offer experiential learning opportunities to students. So that's how I saw it. If you can look at a school as a huge corporation with multiple departments that can all work together. And so here's an example of a great transcurricular opportunity that we had. The Rio Grande Valley Literacy Center is a nonprofit organization that helps adults with ESL, GED, and family literacy programs. It's nonprofit. They had, of course, no marketing budget whatsoever. And so here's something that we worked out with our audio video, graphic design, and Spanish departments.
Dijo, ¿cómo te sientes? ¿Te duele la cabeza? The results from the blood test have come in and he has tested negative for Zika. ¿Cómo? ¿Mi hijo tiene Zika? Ma'am, it's just a minor ear infection. His tonsils look okay and he won't require any surgery. ¿Qué es lo que está diciendo la doctora, mijo? No sé, mamá, creo que voy a necesitar cirugía. Doctora, ¿qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué va a pasar con mi hijo? Sorry, I don't speak Spanish.
So very common in our area, we have first generation American students whose parents don't speak English. And so what happens on a very regular basis is they'll have their children, at doctor's visits essentially as translators. Well, in the commercial here, we had the young man who had an ear infection, couldn't really hear the doctor too well. And then the mother was very concerned because the doctor said, hey, we checked your son for, he tested negative for Zika. The Zika virus is pretty big around here right She freaked out. She thought her son was going to die. He has Zika. Oh my God, right? So it became a situation. Reality, he couldn't hear her. He had an ear infection. He said, I don't know, Mom, I think I'm going to need surgery. Very common situation in our area. And so we had our Spanish teacher come translate everything, make sure our Spanish was on point. Our audio, video, and graphic design people designed everything you see. And so that turned out to be a great opportunity for our students. And so now I'd like to present to you Miss Maria Garcia, class of 2017. She's the former president of Southwest Marketing. She's majoring in marketing and minoring in philosophy. And I'll let her talk a little bit more about what she's currently doing at the university. But I will say this: this young lady essentially built the foundation of what Southwest Marketing is. And I was really looking for leaders who would take on this crazy idea. And so she kind of ran the whole program on her own. And now I have the privilege to present her to you. So, Mary?
Thank you.
Go ahead and step out of the way.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. As my mentor said, my name is Maria Garcia, but I go by Mary mostly. I was a former president of Southwest Marketing. It was my first time ever being exposed to something at this magnitude. I am a current UTRGV student, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. I am my major in marketing, of course, with a minor in philosophy. I'm also the vice president of consulting for the American Marketing Association, which is a national organization across the country, and I believe Canada as well. I was, for the AMA, I was actually selected as a team member for a competitive study for this past year. I was the youngest member of the team, and I was very honored to have the opportunity to, keep on doing what I love, which was marketing and research and just working in the business field and getting that experience again of hands-on learning. I'm also very blessed to have right now a job as a marketing coordinator at the university, the Office of Engaged Scholarship and Learning, and just turns out that what our office offers is the opportunity for students to get experiential learnings through service learning, abstracts, research, creative work. So we kind of push that into our college students to have that type of experience, to build up their resumes so they can gain more hands-on knowledge and just graduate college with a strong written resume that will lead them to their dream jobs. So today I would like to talk about my story and how pretty much I came into marketing, my passion for marketing, and all the opportunities that it has given me along the way. So let's begin. So about myself, I was born and raised in Mexico for 10 years of my life. Then I upgraded to Houston when in 2011. From Houston, we moved down here to the Valley. My mom wanted to be closer to the border, and it was less inexpensive to travel as well from where I'm from, which is a small city in Tamaulipas called Tampico. It's really nice, and as you can see, there's a picture there that when I recently visited this past year when I finally got my residency. So I was able to travel and go back to my country and visit my family members, which was just, I was very happy to see them again after 5 years of not being able to visit my family and visit my dad, my biological father. From a young age, I always had like this entrepreneurial spirit. I would play, that I had a business, but I had a business with the pet shops, right? I would have a catalog, and I would have my clients, and I had the little stuffed animals, and I'll be like, okay, yes, I'll sell you this one for this much, and I'll sell you this for this much, and I just kind of had like my business going on, and then my mom would buy me this scientific house play product. So I was really interested in the science field as well. So I would tell myself, people will ask me, so what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, oh, I want to be in engineering and physics, because I loved science. I love science. And as I would create my little scientific um, things, my scientific toys, kind of like create a bouncy ball made out of so and so elements, and I would sell it to my quote unquote clients that I had. Coming my freshman year, my early high school years, I went through this phase, as many of us teenagers might have gone through, or at least I did, and it was pretty intense. Yes, I was a pretty goth. I was like the emo gothic type of girl, very shy. I wouldn't really talk. Just I'll be there in the classroom, just on the corner, kind of like I would listen because I've always enjoyed learning, but just kind of like listen to what the teacher was saying and not say anything. Go to class, get out, let's go. I wouldn't want to socialize with anyone, but just be stuck in my own bubble. My freshman year, I came into principles of marketing, and that just intrigued me. It opened my eyes. I was like, wow, man, this subject is awesome. Like, I want to learn more about it. So, leaving aside all the engineering, physics, and science stuff, it kind of connected me. It brought me back into those times where I would play business, right? When I would sell my pet shops, or when I would sell my scientific creations, because it's always about business, about having my own business. And so, thank you. And so, being part of this program really allowed me to overcome myself, to step outside my bubble. I had the opportunity of summer of my sophomore year, to be team lead for Moonbeams Coffee, as my mentor said previously. Moonbeams Coffee was the first time I kind of like had that experience of working closely with the CEO, and eventually presenting to their staff recommendations, because they had really, really poor customer service. And so I did my own research on the side. I went as a mystery shopper. I went to all their 3 locations that they had, and I was like, well, maybe the reviews on Google might be, not that accurate. So I want to test it, right? I want to see if this is true. And it was. They were very rude, and I remember the person and everything else. I was like, okay, these people really need to learn and need to know how to treat their customers, right? Because that was one of the reasons why they didn't really have as much traffic flow going on in their business. Like, their coffee was great, like everything, the product was amazing, great. We were wondering, well, what's going on? And turns out that service really matters in a business. So just make sure that you treat your customers right, each and single one of them, because each customer is their own, right? So you have to treat each customer differently, with respect, and being kind to them and everything. And so we had Moonbeams had a monthly staff meeting, and we took that opportunity, and I presented, okay guys, based on our research, look, these are the reviews, this is what's going on, but here's what you can do and how you can improve the business, right? We made some recommendations, some icebreakers, some tips and everything. And at the time I was 16, so I felt I didn't act as if I were a 16-year-old. I acted as if I were a business professional, and I knew what I was talking about, and I just told them, hey, this is what you got to do. These are my recommendations, because I know that if you follow these recommendations, I know if you follow these strategies, then your business will improve and you'll start seeing more money flow coming in. And so one thing that our mentor always taught us was present yourself the way you want to be perceived. I presented myself professionally, You know, I didn't have to say how old I was. I didn't have to say I was a student. I didn't have to say I was still in high school. The employees essentially came up to me and said, "Wow, that was amazing, you know, but you look really young. How old are you?" I was like, "Well, I'm 16." And they were just, "Wow." Like they couldn't believe that pretty much a 16-year-old put them in their place. So, you know, it's a kind of experience, and this program really helped me build my confidence, because as you guys saw in the previous slides, I was this gothic shy girl who didn't want to know anything, you know, didn't want to socialize, who didn't want to network. And now here I am, using all the skills I've learned throughout the program, throughout this experiential learning opportunity that I had. As part of my experience, I was the DECA and Southwest Marketing President for 2 consecutive years. I was also a DECA State Qualifier. And my senior year, I was recognized as an exemplary business student, which I'm very proud of to say. There you see the student spotlight. That's where I was presented. And these are the businesses that I work with as a team lead. So I work closely with the CEOs or the executive directors of the businesses. And I also had an internship opportunity this summer after I graduated, which was this past spring, class of 2017, with our RGB partnership. And our RGB partnership, what they are is they're like the economic development. So they're the ones who bring in big businesses to the valley so they can come here, and you know, so we can just grow the Rio Grande Valley and essentially bring in more money to the economy. So that was a great experience that I had. And you know, I just want to finish up by saying that the Southwest Marketing Program just kind of, in a way, helped me become who I am. You know, it really helps students gain their confidence, because I've also had some classmates that were, you know, really shy, couldn't think, or they were just nervous, and they were just a wreck in the sense that they never thought possible that they could be speaking to a professional at their age, you know. So once again, present yourself the way you want to be perceived, right? You present yourself professionally, you present yourself as a mature young adult, and people will treat you as a young, as a professional. It really also strengthened my leadership skills, and it allowed me to explore the business career path. Once again, I wanted to be an engineer in physics. Totally not the route that I'm taking right now. And it's insane, because I had recently read this time capsule letter that I wrote back my freshman year, and it said there, "Mary, you will graduate with your master's in the field of engineering and physics." And the first time I read that, I was like, wow. I mean, I'm totally going in for my master's, but not in that career path. You know, I found out that marketing was my passion. It was kind of like just like it was just a drive that I figured, and you know, professionalism strengthened my communication skills, a lot of critical thinking, and soft skills, which is what a lot of employers are looking for, and networking. You know, currently as the VP of consulting for the AMA, that's what I do. I try to bring sponsors. I try to, you know, build connections, partnerships with other organizations at the university and outside the university. So being also part of this program, it really helped me on building those relationships with other people, and you know, going out there and not being afraid to, like, hey, you know, we have this event coming up. Would you like to sponsor? You know, we can do this and that for you in the exchange of your sponsorship. And so, once again, I cannot really say how important it is to one, believe in your students, have faith in them, because when you believe in your students and you tell them, like, I know you're capable of doing this, this is what it takes, then that is when you truly are creating the leaders of tomorrow, right? You can give a kid a book and memorize it back and forth, but you will never give that kid the same knowledge as compared with problem-based learning or experiential learning, which is more hands-on, real-world experience, right? So on my behalf, I'm very proud of where I come from. I do come from a humble family, and I'm still growing, I'm still improving, and I know this is just the beginning, but I feel proud of myself, of the accomplishments that I've had along the way, and there is nothing more rewarding than helping others, letting them know that, hey, it is tough, but it's totally worth it. You just have to work a little bit harder and you'll see the results, because that's what it eventually comes down to. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, I know we're short on time already. We're a little over, so I'll just end it that this is a win-win situation for teachers, educators, the community at large. It builds great student confidence. It increases enrollment. I have students that are fighting to get into my program. Student engagement is very high. The learning, it's like you're learning theory through real-world application. It's incredibly rigorous but fun in a problem-based learning environment. It's real businesses, and real businesses expect professional deliverables. Then you have leadership building, team building, conflict resolution, professional communications, 21st century skills. What do we call it? Soft skills. And that's what businesses, industries really want these days from potential employees. So a little bit about our students. We have 99% Hispanic, 89% economically disadvantaged, 41% ELLs. Okay, we're at the very bottom of the United States, literally 6 miles away from the border of Mexico, as you can see here. And so why do I do this? Experience. Give our students the opportunity to gain professional experience now, and they will truly be the leaders of tomorrow, as you can see with Mary. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. So that's my presentation for today. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm sorry I ran a little late, but I'd now like to answer any questions that were left in the chat. So okay, great. Well, Greg, please, you have my contact info. The daily time commitment look like for both teacher and student as they approach the client deadline? Oh, very good. So this is very important that when we establish our deadlines, our team leads are managing everything that's going on. I typically teach my curriculum from the book every Monday. Every Monday, my students, I see the majority of my students every day on a double block class. And so every Monday I teach my curriculum. The rest of the week we are doing assignments and conducting work for our businesses. As we near our deadlines and for major deliverables, the students kind of get that sense of urgency, right? Because we better not be late, we better not have to reschedule, and it better be quality. And so it's really great to see the students just work. A lot of times I can just sit back and watch the students work, and it's amazing. And I've taken photos and I've recorded video of just them, my team leads, being leaders and working with their team. So that's a little bit of, I guess, kind of what it looks like on a daily basis. But I'd love the opportunity to show you guys a little bit more in depth if you were interested. Do I find myself staying after school hours? Not for the program, believe it or not. I'm a coach. So I'm a track coach, and so after practice, after school, I go practice, and I tell my students, say I wear two hats. I'm a coach, and I'm a marketing teacher, and so I understand. Now, on rare occasions, sometimes if need be, I can come in for tutoring. I can offer tutoring, but the work typically gets done within my class. That's when the work gets done. And so that's why it takes a year long. For a typical firm, it might take a couple weeks, maybe a month to conduct this work, but that's all they're doing, in a full 8-hour day. Well, my students, they come see me for an hour and a half, and then they go take physics, and then they go take English, and that's not all that they're doing. So it takes us a little longer. And the businesses understand that. Good question. Perfect. Now, social media marketing is a course that I am currently teaching. I can start teaching that. I typically start teaching that with my younger students, and so sophomores, I'm currently teaching that curriculum. But it's kind of folded into the overall curriculum that I'm offering with South Texas College. So South Texas College, I teach principles of marketing, and that's when I kind of fold in the social media marketing curriculum. Here in Texas, we have TEKS, Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, that need to be taught, kind of like subject learning objectives to all the students. I hit every single one of those through my typical curriculum through the college, which is great for me and the way that I teach. But the social media aspect of it all, every single one of our clients right now has social media requirements. Every single one of our clients needs some sort of assistance, help with social media. And so every single one of my computers, and I do teach in a computer lab, they have full social media access, and that's monitored closely by our IT department. And it's given to us for special permission based on the work that we're doing with clients. So the students have a real life opportunity to work with real company, real business social media marketing. It's a lot of fun. Yes, each one of my classes is a year long, Greg. So I see, or it's probably Angela asking the question. Every single one of my classes, my students sign up to take my course for a year long. Now there are instances where the students, just kind of based on their own pathway, maybe they can't take me a year long because they're trying to get their associates in some other subject. They'll take me for the semester that they need the credit for. And I do cover all of the subject learning objectives through the course for that semester for that particular college course in that semester. But what I typically ask is that the students, they all typically sign up to take my course a year long. And that gives the opportunity for us to do the majority of our comprehensive research in the fall, and then develop strategy recommendations and whatever else we need to, final deliverables in the spring. Good question. Do we have any other questions? Oh, okay. No, thank you. This has really been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so very much. On behalf of my program and my students, it's really great to just be able to share what we're doing. I would just love for other teachers and students and communities to go what we're going to have the same experience that we have here. It's so much fun, and to see the students learn and grow is just amazing. Um, yes, we did run a little long. Greg, thank you very much, and thank you everyone. And if you're interested in communicating with us, please reach out to me. My email, there's my personal cell phone. You can go to our website, southwestmarketing.org, and follow us on our social media streams.